What is up, nerds? Today we're going to learn how to clean our mountain bike the proper way. This isn't working as well as I intended it to. So, putting the bike in the shower did not work as planned, so we're just going to go to the bike shop and figure out how to wash it the proper way. So the mountain bike, you do tend to clean a little bit more. That's why we're going to focus on it. It's not super difficult to clean a bicycle, but there are a few things that you do need to know. So if you live in North Carolina or anywhere on the East Coast for that matter, like right now, it's raining. It's raining outside and it sucks. If you have even gotten to ride outside, your bike's going to be covered. It's going to be covered in crap. Let's get right to it. So there are a few items that you are going to need to wash your bicycle that will make life a little bit easier. You are going to need some bike wash, definitely some grunge brushes, get some towels, some old rags, some old t-shirts work great as well, definitely some degreaser. I enjoy the muc-off, it works phenomenally, and then a chain cleaner. Chain cleaner does wonders. So the bike wash is just convenient, but you can also use warm water and Dawn dish soap. Make sure you only use Dawn dish soap. If it's good enough for the duckies, then it is good enough for your precious. So, and if you have puppies, feel free to let them enjoy in all the fun that you're about to have. So, and to help me on our endeavor today is the master mechanic, Keith. So to do this properly, it is easiest to have a bike stand. Obviously, put your bike in the stand, then remove both of your wheels. And the #1 rule when hosing your bike down is to use a light setting. Like on the hose that we use, we set it to shower, and you do not blast anywhere that you have bearings. Bearings that could be your headset, bottom bracket bearings, your hub bearings. So a bicycle is not waterproof. So if you sit there with a pressure washer and you're just blasting the bearings, all of the grease is just going to run out. And that's just going to make for a bad day. So after a light dusting of water, I proceed to lather and scrub the bike with the bike wash, as you would expect. Also, when you are wiping the bike down, squirting it, any of this is a great time. I keep an eye out for any cracks, any dings, imperfections in the frame. Areas that you typically wouldn't look at, you're going to have your hands on it. Just make sure your frame's in good shape.
I don't deny there's some strange evolutionary process going on, but mankind won't be destroyed. The fact that you and I are working here today is evidence of that.
So if it starts sleeting on you as it did us, you can move somewhere covered for the remainder of the bike path. So I typically let my bike air dry just for a little bit, but if you don't have time for that, you can just towel it down. The end result is going to be the same. So once you are back into the warmth of the building, you are ready to proceed to phase 2 of the bike cleaning. So once your bike is up in the stand and you are ready to go, I use a chain tool. The chain tool that you are looking at here is basically a modified quick release chain tool. We just drilled through it so it would fit a through axle, but they do make them for through axles. And the reason you want a chain keeper, I should say, it's not a chain tool, it's a chain keeper. The reason you want a chain keeper is so you can clean your chain, detail it, and detail your cassette separately. You don't want to be, if you're going to do this properly, you do not want to be trying to clean your chain while the cassette is dirty and vice versa. You want to have everything clean, and then when you put it back together, you don't have to worry about a thing. This is where the muc-off comes in. You can also use any other degreaser. I do prefer muc-off for this. It seems to work phenomenal, but Finish Line makes a good degreaser as well. So the #1 tip that somebody showed me whenever I first started in a bike shop was the floss method. So make sure you lather up your chain and cassette with some degreaser, and then you want to floss it. So this is where t-shirts come in handy because they're a little bit more thin than a shop rag, but I take an old t-shirt or a rag that's got a really thin edge and you just stick it in between each cog and you start flossing. So if your chain is relatively clean, you can just wipe it back off with a rag. But if you want it to look in tip-top shape, make sure you get a chain cleaner. They do a phenomenal job, even though they are a little bit messy. So after you have the chain cleaner on, you dump a little bit of degreaser into the chain cleaner. All chain cleaners have instructions on the back of it. They're super easy to use. You do put some degreaser in it, spin the chain, you let it sit, wipe it back off with a rag, and you are G to G. While I'm at it, before I put everything back together, I also make sure I clean the pulleys on the derailleur. A lot of people miss this step, but if you look back there, if you have not cleaned them in a while, I guarantee there's gunk built up on it, and it will make your bike shift poorly if you leave it untouched. You can put the wheels back in the bicycle and you can start spraying it down with Simple Green. I tend to do this light Simple Green mixture because this is where you're really going to start detailing your bike, and there's going to be water spots on it. Even if you took a towel to it, I always end up getting water spots. So I do this light mist of Simple Green on it, and then I just go to town with a rag to get all the little nooks and crannies. Then once you're done with the Simple Green and your bike is put back together, I do like to take a little bit of bike wax or some polish of some sort, put it on the bike to give it that nice finish. And do not forget, you have just taken all of the grease off of your chain. Re-lube that thing. So once I have everything back on, lubed up, and it's looking pretty, I make sure all the gears shift fine. I go through everything. Make sure, another good step if you do have a torque wrench, go ahead and make sure all of the bolts are torqued. You wouldn't believe how many people's bikes are making noise. And then whenever they ask me to figure out what the noise is, it is something as simple as your headset is slightly loose, or your linkages for suspension, one of them could be out of torque very easily. And that takes 10 minutes just to go over the bike with a torque wrench and get it correct. Other than that, guys, I wanted to start with the most simple thing, the bike wash. We will be moving on to everything else on the bike as well, so stick around. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button, as I will keep these videos coming. Alright, we will see you nerds later.